Liam Weston had always felt he stood out, but when he arrived at the Galactic Academy, he realized that his uniqueness was more than just a quirk. It was a mark of his difference, and it wasn't necessarily a good thing. He had always considered his traits as oddities that made him special back on Earth, but here, in the heart of intergalactic learning and training, those same qualities stirred suspicion, controversy, and eventually drew him into a conflict he hadn't expected. It all started in a high-stakes training session designed to test reflexes, a skill highly regarded at the Academy. Here, students weren't just being trained for intellectual pursuits, they were being prepared for survival in the vast, dangerous stretches of space. The Academy was famed for shaping not just scholars but warriors, diplomats, and explorers who would be ready to face whatever perils lay beyond the stars, where split-second decisions could mean the difference between life and death. The Reflex training program was one of the most demanding of the Academy's courses, a challenge that tested both mind and body. Students from all corners of the galaxy, each with unique physical attributes and natural abilities, participated in increasingly difficult drills. Liam, as one of the few humans accepted into this prestigious institution, often felt like an outsider in the vast, alien environment. The diversity of species at the Academy was overwhelming, beings of every shape, size, and biological makeup. Blending in was impossible, but Liam took it as an opportunity to prove his adaptability. On the day of the Reflex test, he entered the training hall, his usual mix of excitement and anxiety flooding his senses. He had grown accustomed to this feeling, as it had been his constant companion since the first day he had set foot at the Academy. The hall was enormous, a circular expanse lined with shimmering panels and alien technology that Liam still struggled to fully understand. The walls thrummed with an energy field that shifted in color, designed to disrupt focus and throw off the students' concentration. Alien instructors hovered nearby, their holographic tablets at the ready to record the students' performances and provide immediate feedback. At the center of the room stood the training platform, a formidable device capable of shooting laser pulses from all angles. The pulses would accelerate in speed and complexity, challenging each student's ability to predict and respond. A single failure to avoid a pulse could send a student's ranking plummeting, and in the competitive world of the Academy, a low rank was seen as a serious blemish. Those who performed poorly often found their future prospects limited, a fate that Liam was determined to avoid. Professor Zorak, the Zoran head of reflex training, was already overseeing the setup with his usual precision. The Zoran species was known for their formidable combat prowess and fearsome presence, and Zorak was no exception. His keen, slitted eyes scanned the room, taking in every student with the intensity of a predator on the hunt. Liam had always felt uneasy under Zorak's gaze. It was as though the professor could see into his very soul, unraveling every thought and feeling with a single, penetrating look. Students, Zorak's voice thundered, filling the vast training hall. Today's challenge will push your reflexes beyond anything you've encountered. The difficulty has been increased. Brace yourselves. Liam stepped onto the platform, his pulse racing as he readied himself for the simulation. Alien students around him fidgeted with anxious energy. Beside him stood Greth, a blue-skinned key whose tendrils twitched restlessly. To his right was Maya, a Delphian with skin that shimmered like polished metal under the harsh lights. The Academy had assembled species Liam had only read about in the limited texts back on Earth, and the diversity of his peers both amazed and unnerved him. The first laser pulses emerged slowly, almost lazily, as though the system were merely stretching. Liam effortlessly sidestepped the first one, shifting his weight with a casual ease. As the pulses gained speed, his body seemed to react on its own, muscles tightening and moving before his mind could even register the threat. It was a natural reflex he'd never given much thought to back home, but one that had always served him well in sports and physical challenges. As the intensity ramped up, Liam noticed his classmates beginning to falter. Greth's tendrils flailed, struggling to keep pace, and he was struck twice in quick succession. Each pulse that hit him was met with a frustrated grunt. Maya, usually calm and collected, was panting heavily, clearly struggling to match the accelerating speed. Despite their efforts, it was clear they were reaching their limits. Liam, however, felt an eerie calmness wash over him. His body moved with fluid precision, slipping through the laser pulses with an almost effortless grace. He found himself navigating the assault with a smoothness that surprised even him. It didn't take long for Liam to notice his classmates' stares, an expression of both awe and confusion. Whispers began to ripple through the room as the aliens observed him dodging with a speed and agility they hadn't expected from a human. Professor Zorak's sharp eyes locked onto Liam, initially filled with curiosity. But as the test went on, and Liam continued to evade the pulses with ease, curiosity shifted to something more unsettling: suspicion. Zorak had taught this course for countless years, training students from hundreds of species, each with their own unique set of reflexes and capabilities. But never had he seen a student move like this. The human was evading the lasers at a speed that would challenge even the most skilled Zoran warriors. Weston, Zorak's voice cut through the room like a blade, halting the exercise abruptly. The other students, relieved by the pause, turned their attention to Liam, who stood still on the platform, breathing evenly, untouched by the grueling test. "Yes, Professor?" Liam responded, his voice steady, though a flicker of confusion flashed across his mind. He didn't understand why he was being singled out. Zorak's eyes narrowed, his slitted pupils narrowing even further. "Step down from the platform." Liam complied, stepping down from the platform, his every motion scrutinized by the other students. The weight of their stares was palpable, a blend of admiration and wariness. Zorak, however, showed no hint of approval, his face only deepening into a stern, unyielding expression. "What exactly do you think you're doing, Weston?" Zorak's voice was low, each word laced with an unmistakable accusation. Liam's brow furrowed in genuine confusion. "I'm just following the exercise, sir, just like everyone else." A quiet murmur rippled through the room. Zorak's gaze grew even more intense. "Don't try to deceive me. No one has dodged every single pulse at that speed without some sort of aid. Are you using hidden technology?" The word struck Liam hard, like a physical blow. Hidden technology? Aid? He had been relying solely on instinct, his body reacting faster than his mind could keep up. The notion that he needed some external help was laughable. "No, sir," Liam replied, his voice firm but edged with disbelief. "I'm not using anything. It's just my reflexes." Zorak's stare intensified, and the room fell into a heavy silence. Liam could feel his face heat under the professor's unrelenting gaze. The accusation stung more than he wanted to admit. He'd always taken pride in his quick reflexes, his agility, and his athleticism. To have them questioned in such a public, humiliating manner was infuriating. "Just your reflexes?" Zorak echoed, his voice dripping with doubt. He turned to address the other students. "Does anyone here want to confirm Weston's story?" The room fell silent. His classmates shifted uncomfortably, avoiding his gaze. Liam knew they had seen his performance, but he also understood their reluctance. Questioning a professor was not something anyone did lightly, and most of them hardly knew him, just a lone human among an entire academy of aliens. Zorak's jaw tightened. "Weston, you're suspended from this class pending an investigation. If it turns out you've been using unauthorized means, you will be expelled from the academy. Is that understood?" Liam's stomach sank. Suspended for simply doing well? He fought to maintain his composure, pushing down the urge to argue. It would only make matters worse. "Yes, sir," he replied, his voice steady, though a flicker of defiance slipped through. As he exited the training hall, he could feel the weight of every student's eyes on him, their whispers following in his wake like shadows. For the next few days of his suspension, Liam remained in a state of shock. Frustration and confusion churned in his mind. He had worked relentlessly to earn his spot at the Galactic Academy, and just as he was beginning to feel at ease, he was cast out of one of the most important classes because of his reflexes, a skill he had always taken for granted. A skill he had assumed was as ordinary as breathing. Yet to the Academy, his very humanity now seemed to be under question. Liam spent his days wandering the Academy's massive, sprawling campus, a maze of alien architecture and cutting-edge technology. The Galactic Academy was housed within an asteroid, hollowed out and transformed into an advanced educational hub. The Academy was a fusion of everything Liam had read about in Earth's science fiction novels. Crystalline halls that shifted colors, lecture rooms projected by holograms, and arenas where artificial gravity defied the norm. Yet, as he walked through its futuristic corridors, he couldn't shake the feeling that this place, despite its technological marvels, lacked any true understanding of humans. Frustrated and determined to find answers, Liam made his way to the Academy's immense library. The towering shelves seemed to stretch endlessly, filled with scrolls, holographic data pads, and crystalline memory shards from civilizations across the galaxy. He connected to the system and began combing through the records of alien species, searching for any mention of reflexes, physical traits, or combat abilities. Liam needed to understand why his own abilities seemed so foreign, so difficult for his peers to grasp. As he sifted through the archives, he found detailed descriptions of various species' physical attributes. Each had evolved in response to their home planet's environment, giving them unique strengths. The Zoran, like his Professor Zorak, possessed immense strength and durability. The Delians, like his classmate Maya, had reflective skin that shielded them from harsh radiation. The key Greth species had tendrils that heightened their spatial awareness. What stood out to Liam, though, was that each species excelled in a single trait, but none seemed to possess the blend of quick reflexes, coordination, and adaptability that he had. For a brief moment, he felt a surge of pride. His humanity could be an asset. But that pride quickly faded, replaced by a sense of isolation. There was no mention of human capabilities anywhere in the library. Reflexes, endurance, agility, none of it seemed to be recorded or even acknowledged. It was as if Earth and its people were still a mystery, unseen and underestimated by the galaxy. The frustration simmered within him. Were humans really so misunderstood, or worse, ignored? A determination set in. If he could prove his reflexes weren't a fluke or some form of cheating, but a genuine human trait, he could restore his standing at the Academy and maybe, just maybe, prove humanity's worth. But to do that, he would need more than just words. He needed proof. The next day, he approached Greth, Maya, and a few other classmates. They met him after lessons in a secluded part of the Academy grounds, a quiet space where students sometimes practiced outside the watchful eyes of instructors. He could sense their wariness. After all, he was the one who had supposedly cheated during the reflex test. "Why'd you call us here?" Greth asked, his tendrils twitching with curiosity but also a hint of suspicion. "Are you going to finally tell us how you did it?" Liam exhaled slowly. "Listen, I know you all think I cheated, but I didn't. What you saw with those laser pulses, that's just normal for me. For humans," Maya raised an eyebrow, clearly unconvinced. "Normal? You want us to believe that every human can move like that?" Liam hesitated, but then nodded. "Not every human," he admitted, "but it's more common than you think. On Earth, we train in sports, agility drills, reaction-based games. Fast reflexes are something we develop from a young age. I came here to show you that my reflexes are real, and they're natural." Greth exchanged a glance with Maya, who appeared thoughtful. After a moment, Greth shrugged. "All right, show us then." Liam felt a rush of nerves, but he smiled, understanding the importance of this moment. This was his chance to prove that the human body was capable of more than the galaxy had ever imagined. If Liam failed, he would only confirm their doubts. But if he succeeded, maybe he could start changing their view of him. He quickly set up a makeshift test using a small metallic sphere from the Academy's gym equipment. It was designed to move unpredictably, typically used to train hand-eye coordination by challenging students to keep up with its erratic motion. Liam programmed the sphere to bounce in random directions, making it even more difficult to catch. "Maya, you're up first," he said, handing her the device. "The goal is simple. Catch it before it hits the ground. Go ahead and give it a try." Maya activated the device, her reflective skin shimmering as she concentrated. The sphere shot off in a rapid, unpredictable pattern. She lunged, missed, and tried again. After several attempts, she finally caught it, breathing heavily. Her skin gleamed, showing just how much effort she had put into the task. Next up was Greth. His tendrils twitched and swayed as he tried to track the sphere's erratic path. Took a few tries, but he managed to grab it once. However, he admitted afterward that he was worn out from the effort. Finally, it was Liam's turn. He took a deep breath, focusing, letting his reflexes take over. The sphere launched, and without any hesitation, he moved in sync with its trajectory. He caught it after only 2 bounces, his hand darting out with near-instant precision. He did it again twice more, each time faster and with less effort. The sphere barely touched the ground before he intercepted it. Greth and Maya stood in stunned silence. Maya's expression had gone from doubt to awe, while Greth's tendrils quivered in astonishment. That wasn't cheating?" Greth finally asked, his voice full of disbelief. "No," Liam replied, his tone firm. "It's just reflexes. Humans practice this kind of thing from an early age." Maya shook her head, letting out a small laugh. "Liam, if I hadn't seen it myself, I would never have believed it." Encouraged by their reactions, Liam dug deeper into his research, collecting studies from Earth's scientific archives on human reflexes, reaction time, and even footage of himself showcasing his agility. Each day, he gathered more proof, determined to show the Academy that his abilities weren't a trick, but a natural part of human physiology. Soon, word spread among the students. Others came to observe the practice sessions, some out of a sense of competition, others simply fascinated. The sessions turned into a hub of cultural exchange, with students from various species sharing stories of their own unique physical traits. Liam listened attentively, eager to learn about their abilities while also teaching them about human resilience, adaptability, and the importance of reflex training. As his demonstrations gained popularity, the Academy's council took notice. They had been closely monitoring Liam's suspension, and the rumors surrounding his skills only deepened Professor Zorak's suspicions. To Zorak, it seemed as though Liam was manipulating the other students to gain acceptance for his supposed advantage. Determined to put an end to what he saw as a deception, Zorak called for an official review of Liam's actions. 2 weeks after his suspension, Liam received received a formal summons from the council. It was a summons that carried a sense of finality, and he knew this would be his last opportunity to clear his name and make his case. His heart raced as he made his way to the council chambers. Despite all the preparation, gathering evidence, rehearsing his words, he couldn't shake the nerves. The council chambers were imposing, with towering crystalline walls that seemed to amplify every sound. The members sat in a semicircle, their faces a patchwork of alien features, each more unfamiliar than the last. Professor Zorak was there, his narrowed eyes locked onto Liam with a look that seemed to challenge him at every turn. Beside Zorak sat Chancellor Na, an ancient Saruan with telepathic abilities, who presided over the council with an air of calm authority. Her gaze, though composed, was sharp and analytical. "Liam Weston," she began, her voice resonating through the chamber, "you stand before us to address accusations that you manipulated the results of your reflex training assessment. You have requested the chance to prove your innocence. We are listening." Taking a steadying breath, Liam stepped forward, clutching his carefully prepared evidence. He laid out his case with confidence, explaining the scientific principles behind human reflexes, the cultural significance of agility training on Earth, and even showing the recorded footage of his demonstrations. His voice was steady as he described the biological factors that contributed to human reflexes, and how sports and physical training had refined these abilities from an early age. Finally, he turned to address the Academy's apparent misunderstanding of human physiology. "I know humans are rare here," he said, meeting Zorak's gaze directly, "and I understand that our abilities may seem strange to you, but that doesn't make them any less real. What you saw during the training session wasn't cheating. It was simply me being human." A heavy silence followed as the council reviewed his evidence, exchanging quiet murmurs. Zorak's expression remained unreadable, but Liam could see a subtle shift, a slight furrowing of his brow, as if he were reluctantly considering the possibility that he might have been wrong. Chancellor Na raised a hand, halting the murmurs. She looked at Liam with a thoughtful expression. "Liam Weston, your explanation is convincing. It appears that we may have underestimated the potential of your species." Zorak's jaw tightened, but after a long pause, he gave a reluctant nod. The council deliberated briefly before Chancellor Na made their decision. "Liam, your suspension is hereby lifted. Additionally, we will be incorporating human physiology studies into our curriculum. Your persistence and dedication have not gone unnoticed. Welcome back to the Academy." The news of his suspension being lifted was a victory, but for Liam, it marked the beginning of something much more significant. It wasn't just about returning to the reflex training class. It was about proving himself, his humanity, and the resilience of his people to an academy of alien species who had barely considered Earth, let alone its inhabitants. This experience had sparked a drive in Liam he hadn't known before, a determination to represent not just himself, but all humans in a galaxy that saw them as an anomaly, even a liability. He now felt a sense of purpose, one that went far beyond clearing his name. It was a chance to show the universe that humans, despite being few and misunderstood, had their own strengths. When Liam returned to his classes, he immediately noticed a subtle change in how his peers viewed him. The skepticism and pity that had once surrounded him were now replaced by curiosity and respect. Some even approached him after class to ask about Earth, its culture, its people, and its strengths. It was as if his suspension and eventual exoneration had shattered an invisible barrier, allowing others to see him not as an outsider, but as someone with valuable knowledge and experiences to share. The next few weeks marked a period of transformation for Liam. With renewed determination, he threw himself into his studies, excelling in subjects that had once been challenging. Reflex training, which had previously caused him stress, became a source of pride. Every time he dodged a pulse or caught an object mid-air, he felt a sense of achievement. He was not only proving his own worth, but also demonstrating his humanity's potential in a very tangible way. However, Liam knew that his success came with a greater responsibility. He was now seen as a representative of humanity, bridging the gap between Earth and the galaxy's many civilizations. The real turning point came when the Galactic Academy's Council announced an unprecedented symposium to explore the potential of human abilities and their role in intergalactic affairs. The very fact that this event was happening was proof of how much Liam's influence had grown. The council invited him to speak at the symposium, asking him to share his views on human adaptability, resilience, and unique capabilities. This was an opportunity he couldn't ignore. Liam recognized that this was his moment to shape the Academy's perception of Earth and its people. He threw himself into preparation, meticulously gathering data, crafting visual presentations, and even reaching out to scientists on Earth for studies on reflexes, endurance, and human adaptability. His research covered not just the physical aspects of humanity, but the psychological strengths that allowed humans humans to adapt to new challenges, thrive in unfamiliar environments, and find solutions where others saw only obstacles. He wanted to present a well-rounded view of humankind, not just as biological beings, but as a species marked by courage, creativity, and resilience. On the day of the symposium, the Academy's main hall was packed with students, faculty, and council members. Among them was Professor Zorak, who had once doubted Liam, but had since become one of his most attentive observers. The atmosphere was charged with anticipation as Liam took the stage, the soft blue glow of the holographic projector lighting up his face. He began with a simple but profound statement. "Thank you for giving me the opportunity to share what it means to be human." Then, he launched into his presentation, starting with an overview of human evolution on Earth. Liam spoke about humanity's adaptability to extreme environments, how humans had learned to hunt, build, and create tools, and how they had developed societies based on cooperation and innovation. He explained the concept of fight or flight and how it had sharpened human reflexes over millennia, enabling rapid reactions to danger, skills that, to the alien audience, appeared almost otherworldly. He showed data highlighting human athletic accomplishments, playing videos of Olympic athletes demonstrating incredible feats of speed, strength, and agility. The audience watched in awe as humans sprinted, jumped, and swam faster than most alien species could comprehend. There was a collective gasp when Liam showed a clip of a gymnast executing flawless flips and spins on a narrow beam, maintaining perfect balance. "Humans may not possess the strength of the Zoran," Liam said, giving a respectful nod to Professor Zorak, "or the sensory abilities of the key. But our strength lies in our adaptability. Our bodies are versatile, our reflexes fine-tuned by survival, and our minds are capable of remarkable resilience. We might not be the best in one field, but we're capable in many." The room fell silent, the attendees wide-eyed and captivated. Liam could sense a shift in their perception, a realization settling in that despite their apparent limitations, humans had qualities that could be indispensable in a galaxy where survival often depended on quick thinking and the ability to adapt. After the presentation, the council opened the floor to questions. A student from the back raised his hand, and Liam nodded in acknowledgement. "Liam," the student said, his voice full of respect, "do you think humans could play a role in our galactic missions and exploration efforts?" Liam paused, considering the question carefully. "I do believe so. Humans bring something unique to the table. Our adaptability and resilience make us especially suited for the unexpected. We are natural problem solvers, driven by curiosity and a desire to understand the world and the universe around us. I think our talents can help bridge the gaps between our diverse species." A murmur of agreement spread through the crowd. Liam's words were striking a chord, and he realized that he wasn't just advocating for humanity. He was inspiring a change in perspective. He could see the respect in their eyes, a genuine recognition that humans were far more capable than they had been given credit for. Then, Professor Zorak stood, his imposing figure casting a long shadow across the hall. The room grew quiet as all eyes turned to him. He regarded Liam with a thoughtful expression, as though reconsidering everything he had previously believed about the young human. "Liam Weston," Zorak began, his voice firm and commanding, "you have challenged our assumptions and broadened our understanding. Your presence here has shown us that we must be open to the strengths of all species, even those we think we fully understand. You've demonstrated not only skill, but the courage to stand before us and speak your truth." The hall was silent as Zorak's words echoed, and Liam felt a surge of pride. For a moment, he thought Zorak was finished, but the professor continued, his tone softening. "Because of this," Zorak announced, "the council has decided to establish a new program aimed at exploring and incorporating human abilities into our training curriculum. And Liam," he paused, his gaze steady, "we would like you to lead this initiative as the Academy's first ambassador of Earth." Liam's heart raced in his chest, stunned by the weight of Zorak's words. The enormity of the offer, the gravity of the position, was almost too much to process. He was being asked to officially represent humanity, to guide, teach, and help bridge the gap between Earth and the myriad species across the galaxy. It was an honor that surpassed anything Liam had ever imagined. He fought to steady his emotions, nodding with resolve, his voice unwavering. "I would be honored, Professor Zorak." "Thank you." The room erupted into applause. Hands and appendages from every corner of the hall clapped in unison, some producing sounds Liam couldn't identify but recognized as expressions of celebration. He stood tall, absorbing the weight of the moment, feeling the full force of the respect and admiration from both his peers and mentors. It was a sensation unlike any he had ever known, a sense of belonging, not just as an individual but as a representative of his entire species. In the following months, Liam dedicated himself to shaping the new program. He created training modules that fused human exercises, agility drills, and problem-solving techniques focused on adaptability. Students from across the galaxy eagerly participated, once again challenging the idea that human methods were primitive or out of place. As he taught, Liam began to see how his influence was slowly transforming the Academy's culture. Alien students and faculty no longer approached him with skepticism, but with genuine interest and a willingness to learn. His lessons on human history, physiology, and philosophy sparked dialogues that transcended academic boundaries, deepening understanding between species and encouraging discussions that embraced both their differences and common ground. One afternoon, while supervising a training session, Liam was approached by Professor Zorak. The once intimidating instructor now regarded him with a sense of respect that Liam could hardly fathom. "Liam," Zorak began, his voice softer than it had ever been, "you've done more than demonstrate your skills. You've shown us the true meaning of humility. Over the years, I thought I understood strength, but you've taught me that real strength comes from learning and growing through others." Liam smiled, feeling a deep sense of gratitude. He had come a long way from the outsider he once was. Through perseverance, honesty, and an openness to share his experiences, he had earned not only his place at the Academy, but also the respect and friendship of those around him. As he watched his students, humans, aliens, and hybrids alike, collaborating and learning from each other, Liam knew this was just the beginning. The Galactic Academy had evolved into more than just a school. It had become a bridge between worlds, a space where diversity was honored and understanding was fostered. And Liam, who had once been the outsider, had become the beating heart of it all, a living testament to the untapped potential within every species, waiting to be discovered.